Happy Friday, Pat.
Hello, Rick, and the millions of people watching us. How you doing?
You know, I'm always just like at the beginning of the show, just giddy that I remembered to hit the go live button. So, that's like if I can do that correctly, then I know the show is going to go okay. So,
yep, exactly. I agree with you there.
I've had one with Dylan, the home inspector, where we just go through this whole thing, and I end up hanging my head and going, yeah, I didn't hit record. And he's such a cool guy. Oh, we'll just do it again. So I get up this morning and I read a headline on Market Watch about the jobs numbers, and the job numbers were higher than expected. So normally I look at that and I go, well, that means rates are going to nudge higher, but they didn't. How come?
Well, they didn't. They had jobs came in at 275,000. Forecasted was 200,000. It looked hot in the beginning, but go back to our you got my chart up there. This is the reason why rates did not go up, because the market, I think, for last year, actually, there's been negative revisions the following month since November, December of 2022. Negative revisions on the jobs going back November 2022. So you're talking a long time. Just goes to show you these numbers come out hot. Look at this, January 23, 517,000. First revision, 504. Second revision is 472. This is back in January 2023. This last month, January of 24, last month, or January, initial reading was 353,000. First revision, 229,000. So it was a difference of 124,000 jobs. So the market is basically catching on to this manipulation of the job numbers, obviously. And so, I mean, a lot of people I saw on Facebook, a lot of mortgage brokers were saying, oh, should I lock before what should we doing, what we should do? The numbers are getting more muted and muted every month. Now, obviously, it seems weird, but obviously this whole week of trading was just very kind of logical, steady. I mean, there hasn't been a lot of economic data to say rates are going to go up any higher. But, the CPI numbers coming out next week are going to be, that's the number that really obviously is going to give the Fed more food for thought.
Yeah, and I'm going to stick my neck out and say that it's either going to be at expectations or higher. I don't think it's going to be lower.
Yeah. That's what they're saying. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of talking heads on these business news networks saying that commodity prices are heading higher. I'm just going to attribute, I said this about a month ago. I mean, this Red Sea stuff is, probably making its way through the numbers. Commodity prices are higher. Why? Well, because, shipping costs are higher. So I think that has a lot to do with it.
Well, not only that, you got the Panama Canal. The Panama Canal is not letting as many ships through as they normally do because they have a drought down there and the water level isn't where it's supposed to be. So, getting things from point A to point B is definitely costing more now across the globe. Let me take a quick look at, and I'm going to come back to you what we're seeing here. Obviously, here's the mortgage rates. This is a survey. It says 6.85, and it was improving today. On the Cromford Market Index, though, I want to say it's lagging, but it's not. This is a measurement of supply and demand, so it's pretty current. And the thing to look at there, and let me just blow it up just a hair here, is that there's more red than there is green. Now, red means it's more of a buyer's market than it is a seller's market. So we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them that have moved higher. Half of them, 8 out of 17 that have moved higher in the past week. Chandler is still the king of the road at 206. Anything over 100 is considered a seller's market. And Norman, she's asking, any subtleties in the Phoenix 55 plus market? Not really, except inventory is still low. I looked at Sun Lakes yesterday, they were 69. And they've been that way the past two seasons, the winters. Normally they used to rock around 150 to 175. So nothing's popped in those over 55 markets. And if you look, and I can pull up, if you stick with us here, I'll pull up Sun Lakes or Sun City, which are the two big ones here in the valley. But if you look down here, everything from Paradise Valley down to Buckeye now, Pat, is considered in favor of buyers, especially Buckeye 69.3. So, that's where you're butting up against a lot of competition from new home sellers. And so if you're in the resale market, that's your competitor. So you either have to sit it out for a long time and wait for their inventory to kind of shrink, or offer concessions, and lots of them. Now, if we get over to our active listings, I'm expecting this to remain relatively flat. It's going up a little bit, Pat, but I think it's going to start coming down from the simple fact that it has every year except for this year here, which was 2020.
Yeah.
So I expect our inventory to start to decline. We've seen on the 7-day moving average that I don't have it pulled up here, but we did get a spike in new listings this week. But guess what? The new contracts followed right behind them. We got up to 3,400, and we've normally been about 22 to 29. So the total Cromford Market Index here is showing that this is the market in total. Demand is higher and supply is a little higher. So the buyers they haven't given up yet. Contract ratio went up a little bit. This is lagging. It's going to go up because of numbers from last month. If I can jump into Sun Lakes and Sun City for just a moment here. Pat, why don't you go over your rate chart here while I look up here for the
all right
over 55 numbers.
Yeah, I mean, this week, you look, just pulling up this one scenario, $475,000 purchase, and just give you an idea of what happened with rates. Obviously, we've seen this channel. I mean, the Treasury 10-year Treasury is at 4.07. Been a pretty, stable, for lack of a better term, market in terms of the last, since the beginning of the year. Hasn't been anything too crazy up or down. We've had that one crazy day, but other than that, right now we've got rates to give people an idea of rates. $475,000 purchase. I think the credit score is like 780, 5% down. So you're looking at a loan amount of 451. You're still looking right now, high sixes. 6.875 is a cost of $821. So not actually, and this is kind of, we talked about that rate stack going back a couple months ago. Somebody was talking about a rate stack.
Yeah.
Like, this is a perfect example. This right now, and this is what I try to do when I lock in a loan. I look at the lender, the speed, the service, what kind of turn time we need, obviously the rate, cost. But 6.875 is a cost of $821. But then you go to 6.75, so it's a $2,000 difference to go down 1/8 of a point when you're saving $34 a month. So obviously that, I would say 6.875. But if you go to 6.625, it goes from $2,800 to $1,800, from 6 3/4 down to 6 5/8. Technically speaking, this should be higher than that. But this is what the rate stack is all about. Sometimes lenders, and this is what a typical call center will not give you that information when you're locking a loan. You have to kind of dive into a rate. This is the rate stack, 7A7. These are all the rates. But this is a little bit cheaper than 6 3/4. So it's $1,000 cheaper to get an 1/8 lower. So it's kind of crazy. But the reason they do that is it has to do with what coupon the lender wants, in their portfolio, or, for overall, just simplicity standpoint. So you have to look at the rate stack when you're, as a loan officer, pricing out the loan. So right now, high sixes. If we get any type of rate movement down, 6 5/8, 6.5. So it's been pretty steady overall the last, month and a half or so.
And steady's good because you can predict a little bit better. You can actually shop around.
Yeah, yeah. Once again, I'm gonna go back to my soapbox, but I think once again, if somebody can get $8 to $9, $10,000 in seller concessions, I had a loan officer with my company said that, he thought that these 2-1 buy downs are gimmicky. I mean, I've been in business 25 years. I can see a gimmick when I see it. I'll tell you, I'm not gonna get. Maybe I'll get political a little bit here, just based on last night's speech, but. The 2-1 buy down's a good deal if people can get it. The concessions, why not? It's a lot of bang for your buck rather than getting $10,000 reduction. We've said this probably a million times on this channel, but
yeah, if you can get it with, but agents need to issue a cautionary tone on that because you have a payment that's going to go up and you know what that new payment's going to be. So, So I'll just make it up. I'm going to get a 2-1 buy down. The first year, my payment's going to be $1,500 a month, but at the end of that, it's going to be $2,200 a month.
Mhm.
Well, you know that. So depend on that being $2,200 a month. Don't get caught up in the hype that somebody says, "Oh, just ignore that because we know rates are going to come down," because we don't.
Yeah, I know.
And so if people get lulled into a false sense of security that they're 1,500 here, we'll probably revert back to it and stay there. That's how they can get hurt. So it's a great product if you've got the discipline and you're looking at,
you have to be aware. It's a strategy, short-term strategy. Like I said, with that cost savings, $400 or $500, you can pay down it. You can pay down a credit card for, I suggest keep your monthly payment that what it would be at the end. And, you can play around with it. You just got to be smart about it. It's just a tool to allow you to gives you some financial flexibility. Now, when I'm saying gimmicky, Biden was coming out last night in this speech. I mean, not to be, he was talking about giving a $10,000 credit for first-time home buyers. Well, that to me is gimmicky. I mean, we don't need more first-time home buyers. We need affordability.
yes, yeah,
and that credit is not going to help affordability. It's going to what's it going to do, Rick? It's going to increase demand and prices are going to go up. So
exactly. And I said that when things were first, started to jump up, and especially in 2021, they go, we need some grant money here for buyers. And they go, no, we have too many buyers now, not enough houses. How much hotter do you want this market to get?
Yeah, that's gimmicky.
That's nuts. Well, thanks for bearing with me. I got some over 55 numbers here. The first one, and we'll buzz to these rather quickly. Now, I'm going to be doing some deep dives on these in the next couple of weeks by city. So I got to make
every morning.
Computer adjustments while I'm talking to everybody here. The first one here is the list price versus sales price, and you can see that there was a bit of a gap of 221 down to 217, $5 a square foot, which is starting to close a little bit. Right now, you don't see, most of the activity you see is in December and January with over 55 communities. They don't put their house up for sale in March because they're leaving in April. So it'll start to tamp down a little bit. Active listings here compared to a year ago. So the pink line here is last year, and we're sitting here at 628 versus 654. So we're at par with last year. And this is Sun City, Sun Lakes, and Sun City West. Oops, This one didn't include Sun Lakes. So let me refresh that. About the same, 723 versus 774. So edging higher, but it does pretty much every year. But then after Easter, things start going down. So that's where we're at with that market. And if Norman, if you have any particular questions for me, be sure and shoot them to us. We have a question here from Bebop. Did either of you see the viral tweet on downtown Phoenix luxury apartments? I did not. Can you fill us in on what that is?
Yeah,
did you see anything, Pat?
I'm not on Twitter or X or.
Yeah, I'm not either. I see enough numbers a day without clouding my head with that stuff. But
yeah,
sometimes though, I appreciate some of the headlines.
Yeah.
Hey, I found something, Pat, I want to share with you. In the Crawford market, they they offer like an infographic and a total on the market. And you've heard me say this for a long time, and I've been feeling this way ever since I've been in real estate, that elections don't matter. They just don't. And here comes their comments from Tina Tambour. And she says right here, it's an election year. Every 4 years, I'm going to move my mic a little closer here. So there's an expectation that the drama, uncertainty, and manipulation that comes with presidential campaigns will dramatically affect the housing markets, specifically prices or mortgage rates. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. Now, I saw an agent a month ago saying rates are going to come down because it's an election year. They can't have inflation. I thought, you need to go take an econ class. The main influence in the housing market comes from policies, not the elections themselves. For instance, the stimulus packages and policies that were passed during the COVID-19 election year and continue in the next administration were the first stones to cause a ripple effect of fortunate and unfortunate events in the housing market over the past 4 years. So they're saying, what's to be expected this year? There's one market that can be affected by the election, and that's the stock market. So real estate, no. Stock market, but get this, the stock market has gone up after the past 4 elections, regardless of party. I think they just get tired of the bickering and they go, let's get back to business. The election's over. I don't really care who won. Hello, yep. YouTube. So there it is. Statistically, elections have no effect. So no matter how cantankerous this election gets, don't let it affect whether or not you want to buy or you want to sell. Just carry on.
Yeah.
Turn the radio off. Put your house on the market.
Yeah, being in finance, being a stockbroker for the first 10 years and doing this 25 years. I mean, it's every election cycle you hear, like, I'm going to wait till after election. It's basically an excuse for people not to do anything. And people always say, when, we've often said, I've heard this, when's the best time to buy? I always said, when's the best time to buy a stock? I said, when you were thinking about it. And that holds true with real estate, where when's the best time to buy a home? Probably when you're in the position and thinking about it and you need to do something.
Well, and if you're getting in the process of getting ready to buy a house and you're getting pre-qualified and they tell you pre-qualify for a certain mortgage payment and you're renting, then go ahead and make that payment every month. One to your rent, to your landlord, and the rest to you in a savings account so that you can get used to making that projected upcoming payment for your new home.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we just talked about on the
2-1 buy
down. Understand that there's a number that's coming up that you may or may not hit, but you need to be mentally prepared that if that payment goes from here to there, that you can handle the there. And what we're seeing people that did the 2-1 buy down a year ago or 2 years ago, and the difference between when they did the 2-1 buy down then and where rates are now are kind of staggering, and they weren't prepared and they weren't, there are some people just steer you the wrong way. They try to be too optimistic. I think you need to look and say, what's my worst case scenario in this?
That's what you have to do. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So the worst case scenario is my payment's going to be $2,800. Okay. Be prepared. So, I don't know. I don't think it's a gimmicky product. I think it's good, but like anything else, if it's not explained properly and you're not managing your money properly, it can come back to bite you, but that's nobody's fault but yours. So
now I did learn something, I proclaim not to know everything. I try to be up on top of stuff, but there's a 3-2-1 buy down, the 2-1 buy down, the 1-0 buy down. The 1-0 buy down is just, you have it for 1 year, right? But there's what they call, and I don't know. I know I've never seen it in the these different breakdown Excel sheets I had, and I never saw it. There's a 1-1 buy down. So basically, you can buy down a rate from say 7% down to 6%, but that'll last 2 years.
Well, did you also see, and I don't think he mentioned it last night, I didn't watch the State of the Union, but there's headlines that the Biden administration is to eliminate title insurance on federally backed mortgages. And well, he detailed the plan last night, but it was kind of interesting in the article. They were saying that it'll save title insurance protects against major events like complete loss due to a flawed title, but such occurrences are rare. Most claims involve mechanics liens, typically totaling tens of thousands of dollars. But there was a comment that I read, and it was actually on my phone saying, oh gosh, let's see. It's at the moment when consumers are finalizing a consequential financial decision, buying or refinancing a home, they are forced to purchase title insurance to protect the lender in a market, get this, built on kickbacks to the agents. I wasn't aware I could get a kickback. Who direct consumers towards an overpriced title insurance policy. You're telling me most title insurance I've seen is pretty doggone competitive. They're almost tit for tat right in line. And I haven't, maybe I'm a naive guy, but I haven't seen any kickbacks to agents.
Once again, that's, you get a bunch of federal bureaucrats making policies for the average person. They really don't have their, they have no idea about the real estate market.
Yeah, they're just spitballing. Some of them are. Bebop says the comments are telling. Did you get us anything on the Phoenix luxury apartments there? I'm curious what you heard. Are those the comments you're referring to? Or is it us? Bebop, if you follow this show at all, you'll figure out we have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah.
Nor do we claim to.
No. Two guys in the desert.
What's the disclaimer supposed to be? We are here for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, exactly.
Do not take our advice. That's I'm trying to change things up a little bit. I wanted to change it up next week. I wanted to get back to my Monday morning lives and do it Monday through Thursday. Pat and I will be on Friday, and I'll dive in a little more each day on specific areas of the valley instead of global, and talk about Tucson as well. But next week's may be kind of tough because I got one of those nice little cards in the mail that says, "Hey, you've been selected for jury duty in Maricopa County courts." That's downtown Phoenix. So I have to call in at 5:00 on Tuesday and find out if I have to report. So I haven't done jury duty in 20 years.
Well, yeah.
And I did one for one day and convicted a drug dealer. So in Fry's Electronics parking lot, it was very interesting how they did that whole thing. They had police on top of the building with binoculars hiding. And when the guy said, if I put on my hat backwards, then go ahead and close in. He puts his hat on backwards, and these police just showed up out of nowhere. They had the whole video of the thing. And it was quite he had a huge burlap sack of pot in the back of his truck, and he claims he didn't know it was there. A year later, they brought it into the jury room, and we could still smell it.
Oh my God!
So it was a wild day. So, well, the only thing I'm going to guess here on the downtown Phoenix luxury apartments, there are too many.
Yeah.
I am reading more and more about the decline in occupancy rates is down about, I think we've gone from 4% to 6%, and not all of the apartments have been completed yet, but they still aren't sounding an alarm for that. That investors aren't worried. They're not worried for their apartment complexes. Office complexes are worried. Banks are worried for those types of loans, but they're actually expecting to get lower rents. And right now we're only down about 2%, which is not enough to help anybody. And you drive around the valley and there are apartments everywhere.
Yeah, I'm amazed. I'm typically amazed at the product that they roll out. These, in Scottsdale, everywhere, luxury apartments. I mean, how many I just want to know how watered down this whole market's going to be eventually. I mean, how many people can really pay? I mean, do you have any idea what the cost of these luxury apartments to rent? I mean, I
They're
typically
about
are.
2,400 for a single bedroom.
Yeah. I mean, that's just, I don't
There's
know.
an incredible place down in Gilbert, down by Agritopia, and it's all luxury apartments on top with restaurants, shops, and a brewery down below, and place to get your hair done and everything. And I asked somebody there, so what's rent going for? And they said, well, we wanted to rent a 1 bedroom to kind of use as an office, and so we were using it for a while. We were paying 1,700 a month, and it's almost up to 2,800 a month now for
Jesus.
1 bedroom. He
One
said, so
bedroom.
we gave that up, and they're full. So you get a lot of amenities and stuff, but you'll remember during COVID, people were living in these luxury apartments, and then all of a sudden now you got the lockdowns that are saying, I can't use the pool. I can't use the clubhouse. I can't even use the gym. So I'm out. We got a comment here that says, I truly value the cautious, pragmatic approach you're promoting, ensuring that we steer clear financially untenable scenarios. Thank you. Yeah, we try not to help somebody fall off a cliff. Las Vegas has exploded with vacant appointments. I'm a mortgage broker myself. Great show, gentlemen. Thanks, Rob.
Yeah.
Las
Thank you, Rob.
Vegas, I need to get up there. I want to see a couple shows.
Yeah.
I don't gamble up there because I lose every time. Arizona's too expensive to live in. In California, I can walk to any store and get up to $900 without paying for it. Groceries, detergent, electric. Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, keep that there.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's
I
the
just,
best
I
comment
look,
of the week.
I just, I drive around, I see these, these luxury apartments. Like my question, just speaking off the top of my head, is how long can you just keep building these luxury apartments? These with amenities that, I certainly wish there'd be a product that would come out where it would be, how about affordable apartments instead of luxury apartments?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're not building the middle end or the Class C at all.
Yeah.
And did you know that when it comes to water permits, they don't have to show that they have a 100-year water supply for apartments?
Interesting.
Because they're building them in an area that's already been approved. So let's say that apartment complex didn't really used to be dirt.
Yeah.
But the area already has their AWDR permit to build housing. Well, this is real dense housing. You've got 500 people where normally you would have, you got 500 units. So that's more than 500 people, but, using a lot of water. And I'm looking forward to it. On the 26th, I'm going to be interviewing a lady from the Arizona Republic who follows our water situation closely. And I want to find out what's going on. I also read this morning that the governor has effectively canceled the leases of all of the Saudi Arabia alfalfa farms out by the Colorado River. They're out of here. And they had an unlimited draw of Arizona groundwater. And then the alfalfa was being shipped out of the country. And so she put the kibosh on that. So that's not happening. And in the meeting that I went to last week, they're worried that, there's a lot of water management companies out there. These guys put their own water management associations in and police each other. Well, out there was none of that going on. And so the state just allowed them to come out and lease the land, and they're drilling down 1,500 feet, sucking up all the water. And you got a well that's 600 feet or even 100 feet, and it quits working. It costs you a fortune to go down 1,500 feet.
I imagine.
I mean, it's always like $100,000, $200,000. I had no idea it was that expensive. It's like,
I'm sure
just
it is.
drill deeper. Oh, well, sure. It's easy for you to say.
Yeah.
So, but that was interesting that those are now gone, and they're trying to figure out other ways. But I did walk away from this meeting feeling like for residential housing, our water situation is not dire. And it's hard for people to believe, but I'm hoping we can share some of those numbers when I get her on the 26th. I'm not sure what day exactly we'll air it, but anyway, Pat, in the meantime, have a great weekend. You've got a big day coming up here pretty soon
next
as
week I've got
an
next week is
Irishman.
Yep, next week is a big, well, just in terms of economic news, you got the CPI coming out, on Tuesday. Forecast, like, I guess 3.7, maybe a little bit lower. The previous was 3.9, but you got, I think, Wednesday and Thursday, you got some built, 30-year bond auctions, and Thursday you've got the PPI from February and the retail sales. So I think next week's going to be a little more jittery, maybe for bonds a little bit, but I still see them in this range. I don't see anything crazy up or down, but yeah, next week I got St. Patty's Day, so I'll be out and about doing my St. Patty Day.
Are you going to be in the parade again?
Yep, gonna be heading up the parade. Good old St. Patrick.
Okay, folks. So now you know where to go find them. So I expect you to yell from the sidelines, Pat, what's my rate? I want to hear that happened.
Yeah. Okay. That'd be funny if it did.
All right, Pat. You have a good one. Talk to you soon.
All right, take care, everybody.
See you.